Hey, what's up guys, David here with After Video Effects and welcome back to another video tutorial. And today we're going to be making Spider-Man's UI and web shooter hologram effect. So yeah, this is what we're going to be creating. Okay guys, so I've got a 1920 by 1080p video here. It's just a recording of my hand that's coming out, and yeah, nothing special. So before you start this project, I just want to say I changed my timeline to from seconds to frame. So to do that, we do File, Project Settings, and we change it from timecode to frames, and that's it. Okay, so let's get started. So to do this effect, we're gonna have to change this comp, or this video, sorry, to from day to night. So I'm just gonna add a brightness and contrast. So we'll just give it a little bit of darkness, maybe a little bit of contrast here, and then we're gonna add the curves adjustment. I'm just gonna darken it, like maybe up to this first horizontal line, and then just bring the contrast down a bit. And then go to red channel, take some red away, and go to blue channel and give some blue. That way it looks like it's a little bit night. And maybe you could adjust that point. We're just crushing the white here. Okay, so next thing we have to do is motion track my hand. So for me, my hand started coming out from around frame 80. So we're going to go to animation, track in Mocha E. Okay, so here we are in Mocha. So here's my hand on frame 80. So I'm going to use this X spline tool, and we're just going to draw like a rough shape around the palm of my hand. So something like this. Now you don't have to be super detailed, you just want to give enough information to Mocha saying that, oh okay, I want to track this area. So once you're done, right click to close the shape, and that's it. We might want to, you can rename your layer to like, I don't know, tracking hand. Just double click on the layer, and that's it. So we can just track forward now. Okay, so once your tracking data is done, I stopped it at this point where my hand starts to tilt, because we're going to do that manually. So we'll come over here to export tracking data, and we want to use the transform data. So we're going to copy clipboard, and we're going to make a new null object. So layer, new null object, and we'll do Control V and paste the data onto the null object. So if we hit U, we should be able to see our tracking data. Oh, I forgot to mention, you want to paste your tracking data on the same frame as this. So since mine starts at frame 79 or around 80, I think I just want to move my hand across, so somewhere about there, and hit Control A. Just move all of this until it lines up. Okay, so, and first off, we're going to delete the scale because we don't need it. Highlight the anchor point position data, go edit, copy, and replace it with the position. So edit, paste. So now we just swapped it, and now just delete the anchor position. So we only got position and rotation data. Okay, so now let's move on to the hologram web shooter. Okay, so guys, so here is my web shooter. I'm not gonna go through all of this because it does take a fair bit of time. So instead, I'll just explain some of the main aspects of this web shooter. So for this coloring, like this, like from blue to black for all of these shapes, I just used the ramp effect, and I used like a shape layer just to create this shape. Or was no, I used, what did I use actually? Let me just check, guys. Okay, so let's have a look here. So I used like a solid, and yeah, I just drew some mask onto it. But maybe I'll provide the project file to you guys. That way you guys won't have to recreate it. So I used this reference image just to give me an idea of what this web shooter will look like. I got a screenshot of this web shooter from the Katina Creative YouTube channel, I think. Yeah, they were in charge of the visual effects for Spider-Man, so I just got a screenshot of it and I just traced over it. So yeah, it may look hard, but it's really not that difficult. It's just a lot of steps in process. Okay. Now for these circles, sorry if you can't see it because I'm just killing my laptop right now, so that's why I'm switched to quarter res. I used some hard effects from an Iron Man tutorial. I can provide the link for where you can download all this stuff, but big shout out to Film Learning for providing these film assets for me. So thank you, Film Learning. Yeah, and I just drew some shapes and I just made some numbers and dots. And yeah, for the lines, I used Video Copilot Saber, and I just drew a mask around it, and I just set the saber like call type to mask or something. Yeah, you'll know when you do it. So that's all done. And one small detail I did for the web shooter is I added a transition for the web shooters to like come out. So like I did like a little bit of a linear wipe effect. So if you come in here, you can see like two linear wipes. I set one to 90 degrees and minus 90 degrees, and I just transitioned it out. Okay, so I'm going to drag my Spiderman hologram effect into the comp. And there we go. So let's first set the transfer mode to add. And we're going to add the CC cylinder effect. That will make it into a cylinder. And maybe we could change the radius to about 90. Just to make it a little bit skinnier. And we're going to add a levels effect. And we're just going to brighten this up. Maybe a bit more. There we go. And let's add a hue and saturation effect. So collection, you know the drill. And we're going to saturate it about 70. So nice, so add some color to it. And we're going to add trap code shine. This is optional, but I like to do it like this. So we're going to change the color to more like a blue color. And midtones around there. Okay, so let's change the ray length to around 3. And the opacity to about 80. Let's go into the shimmer effects, and we just want to add some details, so maybe change these values a bit. Okay, so that's it. So let's hit U again for a null object, and we want to just line this up somewhere around here, maybe around frame 100, because I wanted to do that. And we'll pick whip to the null object. So it's now in line with the motion tracking. Okay, so let's make a new camera. We'll make it 80mm, hit OK. And we'll put it below the tracking data. And come in here. I wanted to position the web shooter around my wrist, so I'm just going to use the camera angle to do that. So once you have this here, so just you want to position it to the wrist. So come over here, and maybe we can use the cylinder to rotate it. So maybe like this, and then just position it. So let's just do some UI effects. So I've got a reference image, another reference photo, and I'm just going to drop it into the comp here. I'm just going to scale it up until it fits perfectly with our comp, and I'm going to make a new solid. It's going to be a red solid. And we'll shut the eye off and just come in here and then just draw a mask. So I'm just going to do this quickly, so I'll be back. And once you've done that, you want to hit M and duplicate your mask and set it to subtract. And you want to move the position, move your second mask a little bit to the left. That way we get like a little bit of a nice highlight here. Okay, and maybe you could squeeze it in a bit and just move it across here. And we get some nice detail. And you can feather out the mask here, so just feather it out. And you want to adjust some of these points, so you can just squeeze this one here just to make a line up. And so I'm just going to do this quickly, so I'll be back again. Okay, so once you've done that, you can duplicate the two masks, so Control D, and you could bring these down and double click on those two masks and then just hold shift and just drag it across here and just flip it and then just move it across here. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. Set the transfer mode to screen and bring down a little bit of the opacity, maybe about 80%. And there we go. There is, oh, maybe we could boost that opacity all the way up. Okay, so you can adjust some of these settings if you want, but I'm just gonna move on. So I've got another health bar UI effect, so I just made this with some solids, and I use Sabo again for the outline. So yeah, I used that. So I'm just going to drop it into our comp and set it to add, and we'll just move it over here and Control D, move it over here, and I'll flip it And grab the text tool and come over here, and we want to write 100%, and we can scale it down until it fits in between this gap here, just in there. Okay, and Control D again, and we'll move it across here. Okay, so, and I'm gonna just color code these, so I might color code this to green, and I'll color my health bar to like blue, and I'll make the null object orange. So now let's move on to manual hand tracking. So yeah, so let's scrub through here. Let's just solo our footage and hologram. So at the point where my hand starts to turn is when we're going to do some manual tracking. So let's go into the position and cylinder. I'll hit the stopwatch for both of these and hit U. And just scrub through in time, and let's just rotate our cylinder and just move it. It may sound a pain, but in reality it's actually not that bad. I mean, like, you get it done as long as you know what you're doing, you're consistent. So yeah, so I'm just gonna speed up this process, so I'll be back. Okay, so once you've got a not perfect I would say tracking, but it will work for now. So let's go and make some adjustments. So Control Y and duplicate it, and we'll name this one CC, and we'll name this one Vignette. Okay, so let's put the vignette before this color correction, and we'll just get a curves adjustment and just bring this down and double click the ellipse mask tool and subtract it. Hit F, feather it out, you know, the same old usual stuff I used to do. And we'll get another curves adjustment, and we'll just bring this down a bit. Maybe add a little contrast, and that's it. And we'll add a stylized glow, and we'll just bring the radius up and bring the intensity down. Let's unsolo everything now and see what we get. Okay, so not bad. Let's make some more adjustments. So I'm going to bring the threshold up so it hits these bars as well, and duplicate it, spread the radius out, and duplicate it one more and spread it out even further. Okay, so we should be getting somewhere. If your bars are not getting that glow that you want, you can just add glow directly to the health bar. So just a friendly tip there. Alright, there's one more small detail I want to give. There's like a little bit of a HUD effect going on in the center. So I was browsing through these and I chose number 38. So I'm just going to drop it in there. and set T, bring the opacity down to maybe like 30, and that's it. You don't have to do anything, just add that little detail in, and maybe you can rotate it, so just slide that over, maybe come to the end here and change it to like, I don't know, like 270, and just give it a little bit of detail. So yeah, that's our Spider-Man UI and hologram effect. It's not perfect, it's not as perfect as the original, but I still hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I still hope you learned interesting techniques. So thank you everyone, my name's David. I hope you learned interesting techniques that you can use for your own creations. Please give a like if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.